So, I want to talk to you while I do my laundry. So, my mom was abused extensively when I lived with her. I got to witness what it's like when a woman does have to rise up and defend herself and her children. So, when a guy says something like, women don't have to rise up and act like a man, well, do you know what it's like as a little girl, as a young woman, even as an adult, to witness your mother struggle and get abused? What it feels like to have to see your mother fist fight a man because he's trying to hurt her. And let me tell you something. As a woman, I get a powerful feeling when I see a woman fight back against an abuser. And you feel inside, when you're a strong, independent woman, you get a sort of disgust inside when you see a woman not hit back. She simply falls down and cries. She looks down and whimpers alone in her bed, and the man will go out of the door, slam it, and come back later in the night when things cool down. And she has to take care of the children who are screaming because they've witnessed their mother get beat. So when you say language like women shouldn't be like men, women shouldn't be masculine, what you're saying really, in a literal sense, regardless of rhetoric and semantics of language, is that you're manifesting an energy that encourages women to be cotton balls. It's strange if you complain of a man being like a bunny rabbit when he is simply moves left to the right for his woman, but you don't say the same to a woman who lets her man beat her, right? You have to really think about how much abuse is happening on women and how you can help women protect against that. It's not as simple as pray to Allah and hopefully your man won't beat you. God gave you two hands, He gave you knees and elbows and all other means of keeping an attacker away. And a lot of women live in very dangerous areas. I, for one, I've had to ride the bus at night back in the day, and there'll be a drunk guy who will harass you. And I would always be like, oh, chinga tu madre. I would tell him, like, I'd swear at him or something like that, and put him in his place, be very, forward with him. And some men get very intimidated by that and they back off. It is very helpful, ladies, for you to have a sense of strength when it comes to men. Tell them to get away from you. Put your line down. Have a weapon. You should have a weapon on all times with you. You should have a small knife if you need it. Learn how to use it. You should have brass knuckles at least. You can get a license from your local sheriff for pepper spray. You don't need it, but you should have it. There's also tasers. They look like flashlights. They will shock and hurt an assailant. Do not take safety for granted. Do not assume that you will always be safe, that people will help you. Time and time again, more people will whip out their phones and watch you be abused than jump and save you, and officers might not be able to call you and no one might call them. So don't depend. And I know you're gonna, a woman has to have an escort wherever she goes. Well, if you live in America and your husband's at work and your dad is at the office or wherever else, you're not always going to be able to have your own personal escort, right? It's just not something that happens. So you need to know what to do when faced with harassment. And remember, some men enjoy pawing at you and watching you look at the ground, getting nervous. They see you afraid, they come harder. They say, oh, she's afraid, we got her, let's go in for the kill. They try to really harass you and put you down. And if you're a girl on the bus and there is like 5 young men who are rowdy and whistling at you, saying things how they want to see what you look like under there, you're going to need a weapon to defend yourself. And if you're on the subway, on a bus, know that the bus driver can't always help you. And know that you might have to fight off some assailants. So how should you fight against that? You need to take a martial arts class. What you also can do, go and watch these YouTube videos of martial artists, reenact what they did. You can buy a dummy doll on Amazon or other fitness platforms. You can get a dummy doll and practice the elbows, the jabs, the chokeholds, the knee kicks. You need to do this. There is no pride and honor in being weak and depending on a man to defend you, because the vast majority of women in America, they don't have that luxury of having a personal person walk around with them. And actually, now that I've started to look at the data, in countries that are less developed, there is a lot of rape, there is a lot of abuse. So honestly, abuse happens in first, second, and third world nations. So a woman, to the best of her ability, should guard herself. I would highly recommend getting a security dog. I often share great breeders. Senza Tempe Cane Corso, Rachel, she has great Italian Mastiffs, healthy dogs. You should really consider buying one of those dogs and training them. You have to train the dog. And Craftwork Canine sells excellent German Shepherds who don't get scared at gunshots and who are very, very strong. So consider that. Consider it. Protect yourself. Don't listen to people who tell you to be weak and to be soft. No, you can be a nurturing warrior. You can be a nurturing warrior. So be a warrior.